Hello everybody. This is going to be a video after a very long time, but I figured that I really do have to just show everybody this because this is something that's very exciting that I received in the mail today, and I am beyond thrilled. As you can see, all I've done is just open the box, but I have not unboxed anything yet. This came all the way from Rome, all the way from Italy, and just look at how beautifully this is wrapped. I have been on the lookout for historic decks for some time, but I love getting actual facsimiles because they show you what, like, the identical deck reprinted in the condition that you would see it today in like a museum. Oh my goodness. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with Eliphas Levi. I'm not really sure how he pronounces his name, but this is his actual tarot deck, a facsimile of his actual tarot deck, which in the museum I believe is housed in a book that looks somewhat like this. This is like a faux book, but it is real wood, and it's almost like a metallic midnight blue color. This was a man who I believe was a Catholic priest at one point, left the church, became an occultist, and I think 8 cards within this he drew. And there's like 3 decks in one deck in here. Now this is a Marseille style tarot, which I do use, but not as often. I'm more of like a Rider-Waite-Smith and a Thoth girl, but I'm getting a little bit more into Marseille, I have to say. And there's something about it that's just been calling to me. So in my style, I always go for the historic things first, learn as much about it as I can, and then I start to like really work with it. But this deck is a facsimile to where it not only has 8 cards that were actually drawn by Eliphas Levi, but it also has his handwriting on the cards. And this is created by Marco Benedetti, who is in Rome, and he ships pretty much everywhere, I think. You can contact him via Facebook. I'll see if I can link his Facebook down below if you're interested in a copy, if you are a historic deck connoisseur. This isn't the only thing that he's produced. He has tons, and this is the first thing that I've ever received from him, but I've seen other people talk about other decks that he's created, and it's just stunning to look at. So I'm sure I would be interested in more. And I'm sitting here on the floor, so this is a weird angle for me. But here we go. This is what it looks like on the inside. The deck is here. It has a little string. It's a very substantial little white booklet. Pardon me. Okay, so one side of it is one language, English is the other way around. So you do get English, but the whole thing is not in English. Oh my goodness, and here we go. The deck is divided. I didn't know that. I think I'm gonna have to go in and look, but I know that this contains a Bernardine Suzanne, an Alouette deck, and the deck of Eliphas Levi, which 8 cards of which he created. I think he is also credited with having created the Baphomet, which, if I remember correctly, After seeing some other people's walkthroughs of this deck, I don't think is in here, but I don't know. I will check. And I think yeah, this is an additional card. There's a Sphinx card, which is not in modern day tarot. And there's Juno instead of the High Priestess, which if you own a copy of the 1JJ Swiss, you'll see Jupiter and Juno in there as well. Here's Jupiter, and the cardstock quality is just amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I wish that there was like touch-o-vision and smell-o-vision so that you guys could get the full experience, but this is absolutely beautiful. So that was layer 1, and this is layer 2. This is definitely, I keep all my decks in their packages. I never throw the boxes away, but this is a package that's worth like displaying on a bookshelf because it is just lovely. And you can see Eliphas Levi's handwriting on various cards within the deck. Oops. This is a very odd angle for me, so I don't know how effective of a walkthrough of the cards I can do. And I'm probably not going to speak much on it at this point because I don't know everything that I need to know about it to be accurate and informative. But we can definitely enjoy these pictures together. So let's see if I can tilt the camera a little bit more. And we'll go through the first portion of the deck. It looks like this. My work table has way too much on it right now, so I'm just sitting here on the floor and it's a little bit more comfortable. There's Juno, Jupiter. I think this is, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Is he the Hermit? Is that the Hermit card? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look. Oh, what a cute sun. The World. How unique. How unique. And then here we have a different deck starting. So we have like 3 decks in one in here. There are so many cards. And I'm really curious to see how Eliphas Levi used this. Like, did he include all these cards and use the deck as one big chunk? Or did he pick and choose the cards that he wanted to keep for whatever type of reading he may have been doing at the time? I'm seeing these cards for the first time because normally when I'm watching somebody else's walkthrough, I'm usually like puttering around the house, doing housework, giving the family food, doing something. I'm not always looking at the screen, so I'm literally seeing these cards, many of them, for the first time as you guys are seeing them. So the Magician. Oh wow, the High Priestess, look at that. And I love the crackle backs. They kind of remind me of the Pam A cards, Pamela Coleman Smith, earlier versions. I think those have crackle backs. The cardstock, I wish I could describe. I mean, I have many Il Meneghello decks. Those also come from Italy and are handmade and extremely impressive. The cardstock is kind of similar, but not really. I don't know how to describe it, but it feels luxurious in your hands. Like, and it's substantial too. I'm not worried about these cards tearing if I riffle shuffle them or anything like that. Oh, this death card. Very traditional Marseille style death card. honestly, in any Marseille deck, I think the Death card is probably my favorite, just because of the way it looks. The Devil, very different from what we're used to seeing in the Rider-Waite-Smith. And even the Tower, similar but very different. Like, you will know when you're looking at a Tower card and a Death card and a Devil card from a Marseille deck versus a Rider-Waite-Smith versus a Thoth deck. It's so distinctive. And this Moon card, it's still reminiscent of the Rider-Waite-Smith, but still different. And here the Sun card, very traditional, very old-fashioned, the way that it used to be back in those days. Just amazing, gorgeous. I love this World card. That's beautiful. And here we have the Fool at the end of the deck. So that's something different as well. Whereas in modern day Rider-Waite-Smith decks, etc., we're used to seeing the Fool and then the Magician. So that's something that's changed in the order as well. And now we're in the Cup suit. That was the King. This is the Queen. Knight of Cups. The coloration is beautiful too. I can't really see very well myself how it's picking up on camera just because of the angle, but in person it's vibrant enough to be catchy and attractive, but it's not so vibrant that it looks new. You know what I mean? Like, he did very well in giving it the aged look. This is so stunning. This is just spectacular, and I'm so excited to have this. I don't know if you'll ever watch this, Marco, but thank you for creating this so people like us can experience a genuine historic deck like this. Three of Cups. The cups always remind me of roses in the Marseille style tarot. It kind of looks like a rose budding for some reason. It just is reminiscent of that. And the Ace of Cups always looks very royal. Now we are in the Wands, the King of Wands. We have, oh, and then the King of Swords right behind it. Interesting. So we jumped, I wonder if that was just a misplaced card. Now I have to see. When we get to the Wand suit, maybe I should have kept that King aside. I love the patterns and how this style of deck offers messages is simply amazing. You look, more to the astrology, the numerology, and the patterns, the clairvoyance that these abstract patterns kind of trigger, make it really interesting and free-flowing to work with, I'm noticing. I didn't start out liking non-illustrated pips, to be honest. Like, these are non-illustrated pips. But the more that I'm learning about them, the more that I'm appreciating them. And the freedom that it kind of gives my own psychic senses, my own clair senses, to download deeper messages. Okay, here we are. We are now in the Wand suit. This is the Queen. Okay, so the King was probably just misplaced. Here, the Page of Wands. I always feel like the pages in Marseille style decks kind of look older than they do in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition. The Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, to me, they always look more youthful, childlike, and in the Marseille style, they just look more adult. I don't know if that's just me or if other people see that too. I've never really heard anybody address it, but that's my experience. That's my perception. Six of Wands, Five of Wands. And it's funny, like right when I looked at this, if you are familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, you know that the Five of Wands is about conflict, competition, confusion, whatever, you know, it depends on the subject, of course, that you're reading on. But this, even as a non-illustrated pip, kind of really illustrates that, because you can see the tension as these two sprouts are trying to, you know, squeeze in there. And it seems like these Five Wands are almost trying to push it out. That's just kind of what triggered in my mind as I processed the image visually. So that's interesting, because you don't see that same kind of tension here. It almost seems like these are sprouting out of the wands and they're welcome in that environment. And this is the Four of Wands, so that makes sense. Three of Wands, same thing, no tension here. I think for people who are really trying to develop their clairvoyance, working with non-illustrated pips, after, of course, you get familiarized with the meanings, you know, using a more modern day traditional deck probably would be my recommendation. Of course, you don't have to do it that way. I, in the beginning, also had many historic decks that I was okay to use right away, but if you aren't comfortable with that, then start with something that's, you know, modern and more widely used right now, and then try some non-illustrated pips and see what difference it makes, what intuitive hits you might get. You know, if you like that free-flowing style. And I think the more accustomed that you get to reading tarot, the more comfortable you are, then you can pretty much read any deck. Like, you can pick up any deck and read with it, because you are more tuned in, more tapped into your intuitive senses than maybe you were when you started. The more you develop that, the more I think you probably start to like the pips, because I notice that it triggers your clairvoyance kind of better when you're not being spun in a certain direction because of an illustration. Like, you can look at a picture, see what's happening, and form a bias about it, or, you know, you can't unsee what's happening, and you tend to forget other meanings that the card could have, which can, you know, take away from the depth that the reading could offer otherwise. So I think the more seasoned you become, you kind of tend to lean more into non-illustrated pips as well. So that was a walkthrough of Marco Benedetti's beautiful facsimile of Eliphas Levi's personal tarot deck, with his handwriting and everything on the cards. I'm just in awe of this. Like, it's so stunning. I'll hold this up here so you guys can see his actual handwriting. It's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I know it's been a while since I've been on YouTube. I've been posting Divine Connection readings on my Patreon. So if you guys are interested in still hearing those types of readings from me, definitely hop on over to Patreon. The link is in my Instagram bio, so you all know where to find me on Instagram. They're always linked in the video description box. I hope you all are doing well. I do miss this collective. I am thinking about giving this channel a resurrection. It might not be the same as it was when I initially started it, but the old content will definitely be there. It's not being taken down. But I might give the channel a little bit more of a tarot spin, but we're still thinking about it to see how that could work. Just because, like, I do readings all day. I do readings for my Patreon. I'm on Lemonade, TikTok, Instagram, Threads. I'm everywhere right now. So I want this YouTube channel to also support people in understanding tarot and understanding this journey, and to just kind of make it open to a wider audience. But everything is kind of still up in the air. I'm not solid on what my next moves here are going to be, but I definitely do plan to be back. And so I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me. I miss you guys. I hope you all are doing great. Let me know in the comments how you've been and if you enjoyed this deck. And I hopefully will see you all soon with another video. Have no idea what it might be just yet, but I'll see you then.